But it is a hot, humid day here in Pennsylvania. There only is a way to cool off naturally. Wait, I think there is. Right there. Let's go enjoy that. That's better. Well, when it's a 98-degree day, hot and humid, the best way to cool off is with what nature can provide. Cold mountain flowing water and natural air conditioning from underground right there. Wow, I'm like freezing right now. Deeper over here. Today is supposed to be one of the hottest days of the year with an estimated high temperature of 98 degrees. Combine that with high humidity, it's going to feel well over 100 degrees. And instead of sitting home in the air conditioning, I'd rather come out and cool off in a way that only Mother Nature can provide. So I'm at a location that I've been to before that offers some waterfalls, some cold mountain water, and some natural air conditioning that comes up from underneath the ground. If you like to cool off as well, all you need to do is come along with me as we enjoy some cold waterfalls and coal mines. Now, the only negative part is that we've had tons upon tons of rain over the last month and a half. Last time it rained was 2 days ago. The waters are not as clear as I would like them to be, but they're clear enough. Clear enough that we could get inside, cool off, do some snorkeling, get some underwater footage, and enjoy the area. Now, those of you who've been with me for a while probably do remember this location. This is known as Hull Creek Falls. This is known as Hull Creek, obviously, and further up is a pretty large waterfall that I have made a couple videos on. I was most recently here with RJ several years ago as we explored some culverts further up beyond the waterfall. I don't know how far we're going today, but I do know there's a few areas I do want to check out, one of which is a nice pool area for us to kind of wade or snorkel in. And there is definitely 2, possibly 3 different coal mines here. One of which I remember is gated. One is not gated, but it's flooded. And as we're walking up here, I feel some cold air as we speak. So I think there's an opening up here we're going to check out first before we do proceed. You see these leaves and branches moving? These leaves and branches are moving not because it's windy out, but because there's a strong cold breeze blowing in our direction. And it's coming right from there. You can see the airflow on these leaves here as well. It's blowing pretty strongly. And wow, does it feel good. Now, I didn't bring any gear with me for going into mines, like my 4 gas meter, knee pads, hard hat, but we can still appreciate the temperatures coming out from here. I'm going to take a peek with the flashlight. I don't know if it's even doable to go inside this one. Maybe, maybe not. Regardless though, I do want to show it to you. Wow, that's such a cold breeze coming out of here. It's blowing so incredibly strong, at least 10 miles an hour. Seriously, if you were out here, out of water, desperate, you could just sit right there and you'll instantly get a chill after about 5 minutes. It's so incredibly strong coming out of there, which means good ventilation, good airflow. Now, the one thing you're gonna see is that there's actually some rails in there. It looks like narrow gauge or small gauge rails used as structural support. I think it looks like a belly crawl to go through there if you were to go through. I don't know how far it goes, don't know what conditions are like, I'm not going to find that out today, but I wouldn't advise going in there, but you could definitely stand up here. You can even feel this breeze and this cold air from the trail section near the bridge we were just on. There's where the cold air is coming from. Now on the outside of it here, of the adder or portal, whatever you want to call it, I do have plenty of moss dripping some water. As you know, I like to call it nature's carpet, so it's almost like filtering the water. Probably drinkable once it comes through it. And you can see the wind is blowing. It is an incredibly strong wind coming out of here. One of the strongest airflows I've ever felt at a mine opening. Well, the combination of hot air out here, cold air here is playing havoc on the lens. It's completely fogged up. So I need to wait for it to clear up. If anything, I'll get my other camera and show you, but it's crazy conditions right here where I'm standing. Now, ideally, I would like to show you my hair blowing in the wind. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So just need to show you really quick before the lens changes and fogs up again, and then we can move on. And here we are into the mouth of it. There's the rails right there. Looks like you could barely fit as a belly crawl if you wanted to, but the amount of wind coming through that small hole, it's easily a 15 to 20 mile per hour steady breeze. That is really strong and powerful, but it feels so incredibly good, and the lens is starting to fog up right now, so we need to kind of back out of here. You can see how it's fogging up as we speak, but needless to say, this is one impressive opening, and Mother Nature provides its own air conditioning if you know where to find it. Well, I just fell, stepped on those rocks, didn't realize they're sopping wet, and I slipped right out. Fell down on my bum and my elbow. So, great, we're off to a good start. Well, let's see how the water feels. Like I said, it's a little bit cloudy and cold, but it does feel good. Make sure I have nothing in my pockets that I don't need to worry about, just a piece of plastic here. So if we do continue a little bit upstream here, this should take us right to the opening up there where the flooded mine is. Yeah, I scuffed up my leg too. Oh yeah, once you're in here, it feels absolutely amazing. What is this? Ugh. Oh, it's like a moldy orange right there. It's all covered in mold. So we have another pool up here, and then right up there is the opening, from what I do remember. This is actually a little bit deeper here than I remember. Whew. Oh yeah, it's deep. Whew. Wow, that got deep quick. Okay, should be able to climb out of here, and right there's where we need to go. So I guess before I proceed any further, I should probably come back, get you, and get the flashlight, see if it looks any different from what I remember from a few years ago. But well, when you want to cool off on a 98-degree day, it's high humidity, you come to a location like this with nature's swimming pools and nature's air conditioning right up there. And in case you're curious about my footwear, I am wearing my strap-on sandals, which have thick rubber soles. They do grip really well, except for algae-covered, moss-covered rocks. But I do wear these. They are open-toed. I don't like wearing Crocs because they do trap rocks and stones. I've always had great luck with these, as long as you use them where they excel and try to avoid where they don't excel. But it's mainly for the thick rubber soles that I do wear them. It gives me protection if I do step on glass or a nail or something sharp and pointy. Remember from my last visit, I said that when you first come upon this, it looks like a black hole that goes on indefinitely. But it's not until you walk in a little bit, shine your flashlight, you'll see that you can't go anywhere That's why it's not gated. I want to make sure it still looks the same as what I remember, and then I'll show it to you as well. I'll walk pen to a spider web. There's that nature's air conditioning. So here's the opening. The camera's actually brightening up pretty well. But like I said, looks are deceiving. There's a bird's nest right there. I don't think there's any. Oh yeah, there is eggs in there. Look at that. It's a nice little finding there. So the way we know this is a mine and not a cave is a telltale sign off to our right. Right there. That is known as a timber or a stall or even a brace. Commonly found in mines to help shore up loose areas and let miners know if the top or back is falling down. But as you can see, it is completely flooded. Now the one thing I've never done is actually walk down there to get a better look. And I think I'm going to do that since I am prepared to do it today. I'm not going to be going in there snorkeling. It's also not stagnant water. Water is dripping. You can see the ripples on it. So it is relatively okay to disturb. Obviously you don't want to drink it or anything like that, but it's not going to be harmful if we do step in there. It's not orange or acidic like the AMD, acid mine drainage. So let me get down there and just get a little bit further look into it since I've never gone beyond this point. Oh yeah, here's the cold air. I can feel it. It's all settling at the lowest point. And the water is really clear. It's even clearer than the water outside. And there's even some broken glass, so I'm glad I'm wearing the footwear I am. I just want to get below this rock ledge here. Oh, the water is freezing. Whew. There's also a fog I can see out here too, where the cold is meeting the warm. Yeah, it's 55-degree temperatures, 55-degree water probably. That's cold water. Okay. Yeah, I can't really see beyond, even if I stick it underwater. Oh yeah, I can kind of see there. So there's another stall that's submerged. It does keep going. You would need scuba gear. But I don't even know how far it goes beyond what you can see here. I can see for another maybe 10, 15 feet just because of the rock face or feature. Oh, I see the birds returning to that nest up there too. But yeah, it's cold. Oh, actually, does it go in that direction? You would need a dry suit though. The water is frigid. Oh yeah, so it just dead ends right there. There's a little tiny pocket right here. So this is as far as you could go without having to need extra gear. After being in that water and stepping back in here, this feels like bath water. Feels really, really good. Well, it did not take long to find our next pool of water. And I don't remember how deep this one is. Better get the backpack off just in case. I think you can see why I chose to come here and why I love this area and why I've made a few videos here, because as I've said, I'm a Pisces. I love water. I love waterfalls. I love snorkeling more than anything else. I also love coal mines as well. So let's see how deep this actually goes. Hopefully there's no snakes in here. That's about waist deep. Gorgeous waterfall here. I think I'm gonna take the mic off and get my head wet because the rest of me's cool. What is that? Oh, there's a rope right there. I thought it was a snake skin. And I want to get the rest of myself cooled off. That's better. Well, I'm sure you want to see this waterfall, so come on over, check it out with me. You see we're situated next to a rock face here. And that mine is just right around the corner there, the flooded one. So there must be Must have been chasing or prospecting a vein of coal back there. But here is our pool of water. What do you think? You having a good time so far? I definitely am. I think what I want to do just for a moment, since we have this waterfall here, we're going to come upon some others, is slow it down a little bit, add some music to it. That's looking where we just came from. Made a little bit of progress, and I spotted something up here that is not natural. Looks like it is created by man. This is another fairly deep pool of water. So right here is some more sections of pipe, and that looks like a hand-laid stone wall. Also another one right there. Now this pipe, if I remember correctly, I think there's an old dam up here, an old dam slash spillway. And I think the piping might be coming from there. It hasn't been used for a long time. I don't know what it was used for. Probably harnessing water back in the old mining days. But we are going to see more things as we do progress. We've already seen a couple mines. There's at least one or two more I know of. And then we do have the dam and more remnants and ruins just like that. But that's where we're headed. Check out that view. I know of some viewers too that have commented before about certain locations they go to like this that said looks like they'd be great catch basins for gold if you were to pan for it. I've never done that. Not sure if I ever will, but from what I've seen on TV shows, especially Gold Rush Whitewater, where they're in the river, a lot of that looks similar to this, where there's little waterfalls and pool areas and big boulders where gold or other materials can get trapped, just waiting to be discovered. I think the dam is not far up here though, so I'm gonna get up there and see how it's looking today. This is gonna be a little bit of a task right here because this is bedrock, sloped upwards or downwards, and it's wet. So I already fell once. I don't want to fall again, and this is the type of stuff I fell on. So I need to plot my course of action carefully. But right up there is the old dam slash spillway. So the most difficult part is just going to be getting my first initial few steps. Once I get up here, there's some plateaus, I could get some footing. There's also some down trees here too, so it's a bit of a nature's obstacle course. Okay, I think I got some traction there. So far so good. Across the tree, plateau. And this is covered in moss, and that's slippery there. I don't want to go left. I think I can only go straight, but it is hit and miss with slick spots. Last thing I want to do is put my weight on it, have my foot slip out, and I just fall flat on my face. Even worse, break the camera. But we're doing it one step at a time. I know many of you can't get out and do this type of thing anymore, whether due to health issues, mobility issues, or just lack of having locations like this. So if you are watching, I'm glad to have you along for this experience. It's too much fun, too nice of an area to enjoy for myself. Safely made it up, and now we have where nature meets man. It's grown in, but this is a man-made stone wall for a dam from a long time ago. You can see the head wall is here, water's flowing around in that direction, and a little bit over here. It's So I think if we go up here, I can give you a look at it more so you can see what it's holding back. Which is basically like an overflow stream here. So this part is pretty much dried up right now, except when we do get heavier rains. Water will come over here. But this is one big head wall or spillway made out of these large rectangular shaped stones. I think we're gonna climb up and around that way. There is a path above the water that we can walk to cover more ground easier. I do like walking through the water so I don't miss anything, but for this instance, I think we do want to head up there, go around it, and then pick back up. So they're now above and behind the spillway, and if my memory serves correct, I think that spillway dam system has created a nice little pool area here. I also feel really cold air again. Is that coming from over here? No, I feel cold air though. I don't see where it's coming from. It's coming from up above, I think. Anyways, we have a pool here, which I don't remember if this is the one or not, but one of them is big enough and deep enough to really enjoy and to pull up my snorkeling gear. And oh, I see some gates up there. You know what that means. That'll be, was our number 3rd mine, I think. Maybe that's where the cold air is coming from. It's coming down over the water. It's definitely colder air. I can feel it for sure. Nips are getting a little hard there. On a rock. There's a little deep pocket right here. As far as the goes. But it's really cloudy though. Whatever's coming down further upstream is just kind of making the water murky. All I can swim in and snorkel in it, we wouldn't see anything, so I want to find a better hole. Like I said, when it's hot and humid, nature provides. Not a bad way to spend a 98-degree day. That looks too inviting not to go sit under. I'm gonna do that for a moment. Something strange has happened. If you noticed, when I got over here, I heard something that got my attention. I was looking around. When I walked up to the falls right there, I heard a couple loud bangs. And they reminded me of like large rocks falling down, almost like a rock slide or a big boulder moving position. I don't know where it came from. It sounded like up here. I don't know if it's above ground or below, but I definitely heard it. It caught my attention. I thought for a second maybe somebody threw a rock or is doing something further upstream. As far as I know, I'm the only person here. But I definitely heard something. I don't know what the heck it was, but it sounded like rocks hitting against rocks, large rocks. So, I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye out, see if we encounter that again as we continue upwards. Just to kind of show you more of the area, right here is a little hillside, and you can tell it's black in color. And it's littered with anthracite coal. So, looks like maybe they were possibly bringing it down to the water here. That's the pool we just came from. Oh, there actually is somebody else here. But I didn't hear the noise behind me. I heard it ahead of me. I heard it up here. And if we look right up there, that's the mine. It's gated. There's airflow. I see the leaves moving. And then air is drifting down here, and I could feel slightly cooler temperatures. Well, I seem to come upon someone's little personal spot here. Not sure if it's the individual behind me or not, but I spotted the pool of water and then noticed camping chair. Actually, a couple chairs. Actually looks like maybe an old shelter here. Some tarping, some branches, some stone that's collapsed in. Looks like either an old camping or shelter spot here. This pool, I mean, looks really deceiving since I can't see the bottom. I guess I'm gonna find out how deep it is. Again, if it's not more than waist deep, I'm not gonna bother stopping, but we are gonna be stopping right there. We are probably about 3/4 of the way up. We'll see how I'm feeling, see what I do come across between here and there to determine where we're gonna turn around at, but first things first, let me check out this pool. Yeah, it's not deep here at all. Oh, it's another nice waterfall to sit under if you wanted to. Gotta do some rock crawling here. Trying to find the easiest way up that's not slippery. So just taking it one boulder at a time here. There's a big spider web, try to avoid that. Let's see, I think we could cut over here. And there we are. And we've gained some pretty good elevation. Excuse me, the individual that was following me, I think is still down there in that other pool. Well, I shouldn't say follow me, but coming up behind me at least. And cold air galore coming right towards me. And there's all the white water. That's a giant rock slide. I forgot about that. Too dangerous to slide down, but we'll make for some good footage and photos. All right, you guys are gonna wait there. I'm gonna go scope it out to feel the cold air. This one is still back-barred, back-gated. I think I need to go this way. Oh yeah, there's some old hardware here too, some anchor bolts coming out of the rocks. Wow, that is freezing. It doesn't really help that I'm wet right now from swimming, but that is really cold air. That breeze is just as strong, maybe even stronger as the first one that we found, the airflow. It is crazy strong. And this one goes down at almost about a 45-degree angle. I know people have been in here. I've never been in here personally, but I do know it does go in a bit. I just don't know how far, but it's a bigger opening than the one we saw earlier with those train tracks as support. But 45-degree angle, they had something mounted out here with anchor bolts and hardware, and maybe even a bridge going across possibly, because there's a pathway on the other side. The dam is down below you guys, so this area, again, back in the day was worked pretty good. There's another piece of mining history. So, like I said, cold mountain waterfalls and coal mines, this location has it. That's really, really cold. I gotta get away from there. I'll tell you what, after getting wet and standing in front of that mine, I don't feel so hot and sweaty anymore. I feel quite nice. Also, I have a theory as to what I think that noise was I heard. A chipmunk just ran by in the back gate. So I'm going to discuss that with you later, what I think that sound was I heard. I think there might be a logical explanation, but we need to keep going up this way, paralleling the rock slide here. And I think not much further should be the location of why this is known as Whole Creek Falls. I want to demonstrate something for you. So see this large rock right here? I already stepped on it, but I realized I can move it. And I want you to pay attention to the sound it makes. You hear that? That's what I heard. That's what got my attention earlier. This is all exposed bedrock here. Thankfully it's dry. Climbed up there, still on bedrock, and there's something up ahead. Something I mentioned earlier. Just need to safely cross over this, and I can show you what it is. I think I'm going to try to step right here. You may be able to hear it. Right there is a waterfall. Now, the only thing I'm not certain of, I don't know if this is the main waterfall, the largest one. Again, it's been a few years since I've been here. I think it is, but there's a chance it could not be. We're gonna find out though. I'm gonna give you views from the bottom, and then we're gonna climb topside, get some views from up there, but I'm about 70-30. This is the big waterfall up here. Water's moving pretty good too. The problem is I have to climb up this, which is just sopping wet. Once I get past there, it won't be so bad, but I'm gonna put the camera away. I don't want to risk breaking it, getting it wet, so I'll see you somewhere up here. Okay, we're up here. Audio might sound different. I turned my microphone off. I didn't want it to get drowned out by the noise, so I'm using the onboard microphone. But I confirmed this is Whole Creek Falls. This is the largest waterfall here. So this is a nice little potential pool area, which I don't think I've ever been in. And I'm curious to see how deep that is. I've seen it from topside. I may have seen it from down here, I don't remember. But it's gonna be my first time getting underneath it though. And then we're gonna scale that, get up on top and give you an alternative view. All right, we're gonna find out how deep that is. I'm doing my action camera, so I'm gonna use this to get some up close shots. I can't see the bottom, it may be over my head. It could also be dangerous water conditions from the waterfall turning it up. But it's not a big area, it should be perfectly fine. And my goal is to get under there and hopefully sit close to that waterfall. It might hurt though, but it's not taking me out of my pocket because my lunch over here. Alright, wish me luck. Like that. We're deep enough to jump in. Trying to push me away. That's really strong. Woo. bottom was only about 4 feet deep, but it was deep enough so I didn't get hurt. I don't know if we saw anything at all underwater, but that's my first time ever being at the base of Whole Creek Falls. And I couldn't get any closer to it because it was pushing me away and the water was slapping me so hard it was starting to hurt. But I feel cooled off. One of my plans to take you guys up there. I didn't leave my bag here and other stuff. I don't want to risk it getting wet. So we're just going to go for a little hike up here. Actually, maybe I'll take everything. All right, my plan now is to get it packed up. I need to hold everything above my head as we cross the pool of water. And then scale the embankment. Get a view from the top. And I think there's a pretty neat rock formation over there as well. Yeah, I heard that sound again. That confirmed what it is. I'll tell you that towards the end of the video. Oh, yeah, I got it out of the water. A little deeper over here. There's the waterfall. Now I need to get out of here without slipping back in. I'm on a rock ledge, sliding. Oh, that was a close one. That was definitely not the way to go. It took me a good 15 minutes to climb up that. I got part way, a rock gave way, I slid down, tried again, got really messy, scratched up, but I made it. I'm here. We're on the top. Got a unique piece of artwork here, like a clown. And there's the falls. And there's the culvert right behind it. I've gone through that at least once, if not twice. But my most recent time was with RJ, and we did 3 culverts in one day. That was the last one. You hear that? That's what I heard before. Now that culvert, I believe, goes under Route 6, if I'm not mistaken. Comes out and then keeps going upwards. Which I haven't gone beyond the culvert before, but I may do that in the future because there may be some discoveries I saw on maps that I could potentially get to from the water. So you may not see me back at that location again later this year or maybe next year. I'll tell you what though, I am a sweaty, dirty mess. I'm ready to get back in the water. So that's our final look at the falls for today. Our most recent updated look here in 2025. We're going to stay topside here because it's a neat, from what I remember, a neat rock formation we can walk through. Then we're gonna get back down to one of those pools. If I don't do any snorkeling, I'm gonna do a little bit of swimming, but regardless, I'm getting back in the water. I need to clean off and cool off. Well, my memory's doing pretty good. I found it. It's a neat little rock tunnel, I guess you could say. Just creates a little cavity big enough to walk through. All right, you ready? If you don't like claustrophobic spaces, you may not like this, but it's not very big. I should say long. But here we go. Oh, that's a spider web in my hair. I feel like I'm emerging out of the birth canal. And there we go. We did it. So, if you've never done it before, now you can say you have with me. That's better. Wait, I have even a better idea. Oh yeah, neck massage and cooling off. actually ripping my swim trunks off. Now that's how you cool off on a hot summer day here in Pennsylvania. Nothing beats a natural waterfall. Now here we are back here at the bridge. Now, in case you're curious about this bridge, I did confirm this was not for trains. This was an access bridge for a road. And I'm guessing it was back for the old mining days. It does cross over a whole creek. I don't know where it goes in this direction. I never went really beyond here. Not going to do it today, but there is a trail system going off. And I think for my own curiosity's sake, I may explore that towards the fall or winter of this year. So if you are interested in seeing potentially where that goes, probably find out later this year. But the reason we stopped here is because I want to share what I encountered. And now that I have solid proof as to what it was, well, we could solidify there's nothing abnormal or paranormal. So what is it that I heard? Well, I demonstrated that rock hitting against rock. That's what it sounded like. But as we made it closer to the falls, I heard the noise an additional 2 times. And this time I actually saw what it was. As I mentioned, there's a road up there. I believe it's Route 6. There's also another road that comes down, kind of paralleling the creek here. Well, I'm believing it was either like a triaxle dump truck or a semi-trailer that hit like a bump or a pothole or something and just slammed back down. If you've ever heard that sound, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Especially like a semi-trailer hitting a pothole or going over train tracks. It just sounds like that loud steel on stone noise. That's what I heard. I didn't realize it was going to travel that far down. Not that it scared me, but it did get my attention. And I thought maybe something underneath the ground shifted. It's been known to happen. I have heard that before. Actually, at the Onycs mine disaster site, when I was there with Alan of Revenge of the Apocalypse, we were doing an investigation there, and we heard shifting of rocks underground, like a collapse. So now we know it was street level up above us, just vehicles passing by. But just wanted to come back to the bridge, since this bridge was for vehicle use or equipment use. It's related to what we heard of vehicles on the road. You know, it feels so nice to cool off in the water, but then in no amount of time, just by walking, the humidity makes you start sweating again. And then you want to go back in the water again. Although the water feels great, it's exactly what I needed to cool off. It just not cleared up from one day's rainfall. You would need probably a good solid 4 to 5 days of no rain to have optimal clarity. Otherwise, you just risk coming with cloudy conditions, potentially getting hurt, which I did. I did fall sliding down the rock. It was completely my fault. I underestimated the slickness of it. Hurt my elbow, and pants are probably stained. And then again, as you saw, there's a rock underwater. Fell again on my elbow. No one to blame but myself. It is all part of the experience, and it's risk you do take doing these videos, especially alone. But I don't have it any other way. Like, I love being out here by myself. I don't have to worry about anyone else's safety. If I do get hurt, it's solely on me. And not because of carelessness, it's just things happen. Things are out of your control. Things you can't see underwater. But as much as I enjoyed it, I will say the cold air coming out of the mines is super impressive. It's stronger than I ever remember. Although this is probably my 3rd or 4th time here at least. Maybe because it is so hot and humid, it's just causing more air to come out. It is like a solid at least 15 mile per hour, 55-degree temperature breeze coming out. And when you're wet, you get cold, you get chills within a matter of seconds. So crazy impressive. And although we didn't go inside, we at least got a glimpse into the mining world that does surround Whole Creek here. You know that mining activity took place. There's numerous openings, and many of them probably still go for a good distance since there is so much air coming out. There's probably air being sucked in somewhere else, like an air shaft or a crevice or even a fissure, and it's just sucking it through, turning it cold. So most likely it's a big interconnected system. Lastly, Since we're getting into warmer, more seasonable temperatures for swimming and snorkeling, I do have several locations I'm going to be going to, some of which you've seen before, and I'm doing updates on about what I learned about the information. Other spots, we're just going back because we want to get some underwater footage because it's a really beautiful area. But in order for that to happen, we need to have steady warm temperatures and no rain for about a week. So I need to play it according to weather. Aside from that, I have a lot more great things coming out this year, so make sure you do tune back to the channel. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on my most updated look and return here at Hull Creek Falls, which was focusing on cold water and coal mines. There's a great way to cool off on this 98-degree day. And wherever you are, if it is hot, hopefully you're staying cool yourself, however that may be. But nature definitely provided today. I have no complaints at all, and I have some scars to remember my journey. Otherwise, thank you so very much for coming along as we spent time together doing a little bit of everything. Swimming, looking into dark black holes, going through some rock formations, getting dirty. It was a great day, and I have no complaints. I'm even more appreciative that you decided to tune in and join me as well. So take care, everyone. Thanks for watching again, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video.